Hello, everybody. It is your professor, Rocco, your boy, coming at you once again with another Age of Sigmar video. In this beat, Rocco Batrep, we've got some Stormcast filth for you, played by friend of the channel, Alexander, who you might know from our How Do You Play 3.0 playthrough, versus myself piloting the Nighthaunt. And we're going to be using the new Battle Scroll GW bonus points update while it's still here. We're going to try it out because the Nighthaunt were listed as being so bad they needed a little extra love, and the Stormcast had 3 different units you could kill for bonus points. So let's see what we're going to be playing today, huh? All right, the battle plan, Veins of Gur. So if you can't read the picture, I do have the highlights on the left there. So objectives randomly show up on the board battle rounds 2 and 3. Everything is primed. Nothing can be burned. What happens is start a battle round 2. You roll 2 dice to see where it goes. There's instructions for where it is. It's either there. It's along the middle of the board. It's either the middle or the 2 sides where those lines intersect. That's where we're looking for the first objective to drop. And then battle round 3, there's an objective at the front of each player's territory that drops as well. Now, this battle plan has been Star Strike in the past, where there was more variation on where it could land. Now there's only 9 points on the battlefield total where the objectives can fall. Unfortunately for ya boy, they usually fall where I don't have anything and have no table control. So it's going to be rough. But very fun. Very fun. Let's go with the list here. I'm doing Hold the Line, a Nighthaunt list with no, I repeat, no procession. Because, reasons. So, I have for my general the Dreadblade Harrow. I'll get into those reasons. Who is the ruler of the Spirit Hosts, to get me, in my hero phase, D3 models back for a unit that is nearby. Usually you use it on Spirit Hosts because it's models, not D3 wounds to a unit. So you can bring back those 3 wound Spirit Host models very easily and really, really be annoying. And the reason I'm no sub-faction is I want to have the 2 artifacts that I take in this build. The first one being the Midnight Tome to make my Karen Wraith a wizard to give it the spell Spirit Drain. And then also the artifact, the Pendant of the Fell Wind on the Spirit Torment for my Command Entourage artifact there to give 3 inches of extra movement to Nighthaunt units nearby it. I believe that wholly within 12 inches, which a lot of the buffs in Nighthaunt are already. So it gives me a nice extra thing. And with this list, I have 5 heroes, and they're all important. Because that's what happens with a lot of death armies, is you've got like one really super stacked hero, and the moment they die, the whole army falls apart. And with this, I have a lot of threats, and a lot, generally, of bodies. And I can take a couple losses of heroes and units and still have something left to fight back with. You know, I've got Lady Olander in there to be awesome. The Guardian of Souls with Nightmare Lantern for +1 to wound and to bring back models. The Spirit Torment can bring back models too. And then, they're all useful. And the Karn Wraith is okay in fighting too. And then being another wizard that I could, in cheap, that I could, say, put into Deep Strike. Because Nighthaunt currently have the ability, for each unit on the table, you put 1 in reserve. They can pop up 9 inches from enemy units anywhere on the table. They're not like a table edge, your deployment zone, anywhere. So I've got a cheap hero and then units that I can throw away to try to get Nighthaunt charges. And when I say that, Nighthaunt have the ability that when you roll a 10 or higher, they get to fight immediately in the combat phase. Which is awesome because it goes off before Unleash Hells. And it's how you get around shooting. It's not reliable, but if you get 2 really good ones a game, you're gonna win. 1 can swing a game back from the brink because you still get to fight in your combat phase, But if you get like 2 in a game or 2 in a turn, oh man, that's punishing as all get out. And for my battle line, I've got a 30 chain rasport, a 10 and a 10. The 30's an anvil that just is weight of dice to tear people down. The 10s are screens to take up real estate to screen out teleporting. Uh, and the 6 spirit hosts are actually in a Hunters of the Heartland battalion with the Mirmorn Banshees and the Dread Scythes. The Spirit Hosts are an odd combination of an anvil, but they also do mortal wounds on 6s to hit, and they've got 6 attacks a model. So you get the right buffs on them, they can put out damage, but they're really there to be annoying and be anvils. The Mirmorn Banshees are there to be anti-magic and to stab people with the neg 2 Ren D3 damage they have, and the Dread Scythe Harridans are just scary. Now, rounding that out, I've got a lovely Mournghoul that I love the model. I know some people think it's derpy. I love it. It's fun to play with. And again, it's a monster that lets me do different battle tactics. And it just gives me a shot. And the damage is good. The debuffs for -1 to hit are good. It's a good model. It just needs maybe like a couple more attacks in my opinion, but I love using it. My plan for spooky victory here is I want to be the prime hunter that Games Workshop wants Nighthaunt to be. I want to score all those extra bonus points before I get tabled. And I'm going to try to outbody friend of the show, Alex, here on the objectives because I've got so many models compared to his Stormcast list. You'll see in a bit. I should be able to sit on some objectives and then just be good, right? And I really want to separate the dragons from the rest of his army so I can swarm them. If they don't have hero support, they don't have like a mystic shield, they don't have prayers to help them out. If they don't have like prayers and stuff to debuff my guys trying to kill them, I think I have a chance. And again, I need a Nighthaunt charge on any long strikes before they shoot me. I just need it. I need to pray to RN Jesus that the objectives fall into places I can actually get to. And now the Nighthaunt thing, the Nighthaunt have a command ability for their generals where you can spend a command point and teleport a unit to the general. And the reason the Dreadblade Harrow is my general is it just teleports around the board anyway. So it's highly likely, as long as my general's alive, I should be the first one onto objectives and I can pin my opponent in his deployment zone and everything will be okay. Maybe. We have Alex's list here for his Stormcast Eternals. He went Hammers of Sigmar and a Stormkeep. So he's going for the 6-up ward save when he's within 12 inches of objectives. His Vindictors count as more models on objectives in his home turf, and then as later the game goes on, he'll get that too. I believe around battle round 3. And it's just filth of Storm Drake Guard reinforced, Fulminators, reinforced Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows, everything in a 1-drop battle regiment. We got the translocation on the Lord Relictor and Mirror Shield because we were just taking lists that are kind of like net lists for this. We were looking at it and playing around with it. And if there was shooting to try out different lists that we were going to do, this is a beautiful tool for that. And of course, Stormcast players are going to pick it. And then for Haha's, he went Heroic Stature and the Knight Draconis to give it an extra wound just because it's already so badass. And yeah, no. 1-drop, extremely scary list. Yeah. And so his AZYRITE machinations here are to leverage all the damage that this list can bring and just kill everything. I brought bodies, but you know what? He brought enough guns to shoot them. We're going to have a Night of the Living Dead scenario here. And how many headshots can he do to my totally not zombies? Then it's use all these extra rules and sub-faction abilities and hero phase commands. Because I didn't have it on the screen, but his holy command is the shoot in the hero phase for the long strikes. I didn't put it on there because I forgot. But it's what you take with long strikes. So I just assume it's always going to be on there anyway whenever I see long strikes in a Stormcast list. There we go. And it's just use these little rules and tricks and teleports, and it's like you can command a unit of dragons to shoot in the hero phase, but that doesn't mean they have to do it immediately. So you teleport them, then you hero phase move them, then they shoot, and you roast stuff, and it's just kill my heroes as quickly as possible because that's how you beat Nighthaunt. And this is all one long run on sentence because it's so good. It's a lot of machinations. But long story short, just to summarize myself, he's just going to try to kill me because I have too many bodies. I'll just take objectives from him. Let's go to the deployment here. So Alexander has focused a lot of his power in the middle of the board and to the right. We've got dragons to the right of me. Oh, it's fulminators to the left of me, dragons to the right of me, and then I'm stuck here in the middle with you, with long strikes being screened by the Vindictors. Again, it's a good setup. You start the game, no one knows when an objective is going to fall anyway, so you try not to spread too far out. But because of the teleporting, the dragons are totally in range of that from his priest. You can see the big old back banner flag there, reliquary we got going on. Reliquary, lower, yeah, whatever word works for you. It's a good deployment. Enough of his threats are to either flank into the middle. He can answer anywhere. And Rocco, ya boy, coming at you with also a pretty even deployment. So the mausoleum in my middle here, I'm going to use my mouse. This right here with this big old tree is actually +1 to casting terrain because we did use the terrain rules. So I've got my 2 casters near there. My 3rd caster, the Karen Wraith, is actually off the table with the Harridans and the Banshees and the Mourngul because those are all things that I can individually be okay sacrificing to pop up and then try to get a Nighthaunt charge. I've screened out my table sides and my backfield so that with chain rafts so no one can get at me. My spirit hosts are holding a strong middle. I've got my general on the horse there in the middle of my field ready to teleport and bring people with him. And I've got the spirit hosts in range to be regenerated if any of them go down. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this deployment. Olander's a little precarious, but if he goes to the far right to take out Olander and to go for my heroes, maybe he gets stuck on some unrendable chain rasp that I can spend a CP to keep him in place. Maybe he doesn't go for Olander and I get to scream with her. Maybe I go first and I can spread out a little bit more and take up more room. So when this teleporting comes in, it's not so bad. I like it. And he takes first turn. So what you're seeing here is he did the teleporting trick with dragons, did some hero phase shooting, did some shooting, got into combat. My Olander got wrecked eventually. The long strikes took out the Dreadblade Harrow just by looking at him in the hero phase, and then went on to shoot off a spirit host and put a wound on another dude. So much went into Olander, though, to ensure her death in the combat phase that the Chain Rasp survived, and my other foot hero, the Guardian of Souls, survived. But Olander just ate it straight up. It was rough. It was a little bit worse than what I was expecting. At the same time, not as bad as it could have been because the Spirit Host, I rolled good on that 4-up armor save. It's just sometimes you're gonna get it, and sometimes you're not, and this is what happens when dice are even. And this is my bottom of 1. So I threw out some if you can see in his deployment zone up here. These are the Harridans with the hero to back them up. And I went in and charged. I didn't get a Nighthaunt charge. I didn't get it with the hero either, so I just kept them safe, kept them in ward save range. I did 1 total wound because this piece of terrain is mystical, and that gave them a 6-up ward save that he rolled better than I did as a death player. Then over here, I went with the Mourngul, got a Nighthaunt charge. Well, I also retreated my hero out because he didn't need to die. And I kept the Chain Rasp in here just to try to keep him busy. So they couldn't redeploy on me when I was doing any kind of tricks. And the Mourngul got half a dragon and then tore down the other dragon. So, like, he's down a dragon and a half. So it's 2.5 dragons are alive. Like, I got good wounds on him. The Mourngul took nothing in return because of his -1 to hit aura, being really nice. And I moved up the spirit hosts, and my other heroes are actually under this tree, which is why you can't see them, but we delete the tree later. The beauty of doing this in Tabletop Simulator, I can make it easier for us to record stuff. But my general movement is, again, I don't know where the objectives are going to be. I'm towing up to the line. Maybe I even get the double turn, and then I can send more stuff into the dragons to pin them. I can maybe, with the spirit host, they're in range for the +3 to movement. I can actually get a charge on those long strikes. And if I can, with the Mourngul, kill the dragons, kill the fulminators and kill the long strikes and top a 2, there's nothing left. I just win the game based on bodies. Fortunately, we got a tie on the roll. It was a 4 and a 4, I believe, and Alex broke ties because he went first, and it hurt so much being a Nighthaunt hero. So this is a little bit before, because this is actually the same picture, because I didn't take a picture of this. He goes around and tries to kill my heroes, and those dragons end up killing the Mourngul with mortal wound shooting and they're just nasty for what they do, and they get to actually pile in to my hero, and life is just rough for me. The Harridans die. All the wounds I did to the Fulminators, he made ward saves on. And the objective will actually fall right in the middle of the board, right over here. And he's just going to move this dragon onto the objective. This is, again, the end of the turn. We just rolled right before the objective came down. It came right down here. You'll see it on the next slide right now. So, again, how Frank did it was he just had to move his dragon on. It had like a monstrous contest. Nice, easy battle tactic. And I'm getting desperate. And I also deleted the tree so y'all can see better. But yeah, the long strike shooting is just ripped the Mourngul a new one between that, the dragons, and the dragons went into everybody. And then I just need to try to limit the damage. I got an easy conquer by just moving my 10-man unit of surviving ghosts there onto the objective. I know they're all ghosts. Chain Rasp Horde. I don't need to charge to try to take the objective. I can just move on to it. So what if you redeploys? It's just a waste of a command point at that point. My foot hero try to go in to maybe bog down, keep the fulminators just from charging, maybe kill a fulminator, and through hard work and determination put 4 wounds on the guy to still keep him alive. And the spirit hosts have gone in now, and then it's we've got about a dragon and a half left of wounds. The Chain Rasp Hordes got tagged in when the charge happened. And my foot hero, the Guardian of Souls, died at the top of 2. But my Spirit Torment was able to flee out of there because there was no reason for him to even stay in the fight. Like, yes, he does D3 damage. He's got good rend, but it's just I need a hero not to issue commands to some of these units, though. Some of them don't have unit champions. I need the hero for the ward save, and also for the rerolling ones to hit off of him is just huge. So from there, I'm able to affect all my stuff, and my Banshees failed the charge. The Spirit Host went in, and we are in dragon kill range, actually. Like, the Fulminators have 7 wounds left. Yeah, the long strikes are just pummeling me with shots. But we actually could kill dragons. We can get the monster kill point for killing a unit. That's a monster. The point 2 points for them being reinforced. And then an extra point for me being a hunter. And that's a 4 point swing. And you can see right now it's 6-7 in Alex's favor. And I am keeping this a close game, even though a lot of my tools and a lot of my points are gone. And we were joking at this point, I have literally killed one Stormcast model a turn, like a combat phase. And it was because the Torment has an ability where if you kill 3 Stormcast models, you heal 3 wounds back. It's D3 if it's not Stormcast. He hates Stormcast. Don't ask me why. They got some history. But I kill like a dragon. And I kill a dragon. So it's, but we're getting there. The threat of giving up 4 points, and if I did bring it down or kill a battle line, that's an easy 6 point swing for me, as well as holding objectives to just get me firmly in position here. And I'm trying stuff, and I'm liking it. I'm in position. I've got enough of my stuff centralized still, and if I get the turn, the Banshees move up and either keep the long strikes busy, or they help me with the dragons, because that's the same hero with the +3 movement too, because all my heroes were important. Those Banshees are going like 11 inches or something crazy, and it's just we're in this fight. And then Alex won priority. So here's a before and after. As you can see, the before on the left there, everything was just kind of stuck. And then my hero was holding on for dear life. And then the after of, because it's turn 3, 2 more objectives came down. They're all on the left side. Again, I just couldn't. They're all right where his army needs to be, which is great. The after is he took the dragons out of combat because they were so in danger of me killing them that he couldn't risk it. So he just retreated. And you know what? That is a positive of these new rules, in that he didn't want to give up the swing of points, and he took the battle tactic to hold his home objective and the objective in my deployment as well. And he teleported the Vindictors, and there was nothing I could do about the the unfortunate charge that took out my chain rasps, or the long strikes that just zeroed in on my Banshees, because again, it's bodies that would win me this game, and now we are just severely depleted here of a lot of my forward units, and also my brave Karen Wraith, whatever you want to call him. That's his full name. Died to the fulminators, who have actually now moved a total of 6 inches through all the pile-ins they've gotten, and have not had a movement phase yet. He had to finish him off in combat. So I've successfully kept the fulminators out of the battle, and now the dragons have put me in a position. Do I go to kill dragons to try to score bonus points, or do I ignore them for a bit and try to take over the other objectives? I don't have the units now to do both. So I went for the objectives. I took a gamble, and it's not that I missed that hard, because I did broken ranks on the Vindictors in my home territory there. Just I was hoping for long charges. I was hoping for Nighthaunt charges. I got my hero in there on a Nighthaunt charge, and then for the second time in the game, I think he only did a wound. The Chain Raspor did get in on a good charge. It wasn't a Nighthaunt charge, but it got a lot of models in. And again, he couldn't put all the attacks into my hero and kill him, thankfully, and he couldn't. It's a horde of 30 freaking Chain Rasps, and I got a rally too to actually bring a bunch back that the dragons had killed. So I was near full strength, and the Spirit Hosts there are just chilling, looking to see if they want to go for the long strikes and his home objective, or try to fight that dragon. But it is just 18-9 right now. That's a scary score. Battle round 4, each objective is worth 4, so we've got some hope. But it's looking a little grim, and Alex is in a very good position right now, especially because I killed one model and it was one Vindictor. So that's fun. And then top of 4, I got the double turn, and I went for the throat. I killed one model, but it was his Knight Draconis. I went for, as you can see, Slay the Warlord, because here was my idea. I could have done Bring It Down, but Slay the Warlord, it is the Warlord anyway, and those dragons are a monster for Bring It Down later, which is really nice. And I retreated out my hero so he couldn't possibly die to the frickin' Vindictors, and I moved my stuff in a way to make sure that the Fulminators and the dragons couldn't move and then charge, because the dragons had already used the hero phase movement. So it was try to grind down the spearmen, and I needed a lot of things to go right in order for this to happen, and I rolled an 11 or a 12 on the spirit hosts, and I got like 7 or 8 mortal wounds that went through, who get head ward saves. And then, like, let's say it was 8, right? And then I got that was just the charge phase combat. And then I got 3 mortal wounds and 1 save to go through, where he was a 2-up armor save. But I had like put through, like, I all out attacked. I was rerolling ones to hit. I had like 3 mortal wounds and like 12 armor saves for him to make on a 2-up. He rolled 1-1. And normally this wouldn't be a problem because they're 11 wounds. He gave him the extra wound. So then it came down to a singular 6-up ward save. And as you can see, I killed him. And that was just such the longest of shots of risks and rewards. I needed so much to go right, and I put myself in a position to at least try it, and this time it paid off. The Vindictors hanging strong and being annoying, but thankfully they are 12 models right now. The 4 of them count as 12 models with their special rule, and I've got over 20 Chain Rasp, just trying anything to get rid of them. And I came back in the game. I hold 2 objectives. Life is going good now for Rocco. We have a little bit of parity here. Bottom of the turn. So Alex here tries to set up for the Hail Mary. He goes for the run rolls on everything and teleports the long strikes in. And this is just the resiliency of spirit hosts being as tough as they can be with the 4-up ward save. 4-up armor save that's unrendable and a 6-up ward. As you can see, the combat went great for me. I now firmly control the objective. The Vindictors finally died. I got to bring back D3 wounds, or heal D3 wounds, and I healed up my Spirit Torment and one of the Spirit Hosts. I didn't have enough. I didn't roll high enough to bring back a Spirit Host, so it was what. And one was wounded anyway, but we're trying here. We're trying to see what we can do. And the last Vindictor actually ran away to Battle Shock, and I got to use a rule that everyone forgets in Nighthaunt, where if someone runs away from Battle Shock near one of your heroes, you heal a wound. So my Spirit Torment is loving life and is very much prepared to die again when everyone's coming in here to shoot. But again, Frank here, he has the lead, and it's just a knife's edge of I can actually come back. I can do this. He can do this. It's just going to be if he gets the turn, it's a movement phase and a charge. If I get the turn, I hold 3 objectives, score 15 points, and my battle tactics score 17 points. Because I've saved a few battle tactics that are very doable right now. For this, and maybe I run away with it and steal victory from the jaws of defeat. And then Alex double turns me. And this picture is very, very important. So as you can see, the long strikes have shot off the spirit hosts. They were my hope in order to just take his home objective and then make it so that I just couldn't lose. Shot him off, rolled so many sixes, the whole unit went down. And I don't care that long strikes have sixes to hit do 2 mortal wounds. They're any other army that is a Nighthaunt, they're neg 2 rend, 2 damage apiece. That neg 2 rend is going to feel like a mortal wound to a lot of armies, where it's a 6-up save, or it just goes right through. And they should be, because there's only 6 of them. There's 12 wounds. I mean, I personally own 9 long strikes. I know how quick they die. I'm fine with that. The thing that gets me is I failed so many 4-up saves, and then he still got so many good shots through. Those long strikes are his MVP for sure. And they showed up when it counted, because, he has no models on my objective in the middle, but if he gets a good charge and he just piles in and takes it. And the poor fulminators, I was able to successfully keep them out of the battle and keep them busy for so long. Like, sure, they earned their points back in killing stuff, but they have never touched an objective. And it's going to come down to this dragon charge. It is a 6-inch charge that is rerollable, because he still has the command point for the round. Because, if you get a command point if you go first, you get a second one if your general's alive. His general is not alive. He has the 1 point. I went second. I got 2 points. Command points specifically. My general's been dead, so I haven't been getting these extra ones. And you could also see we've been using a timer as if it was a tournament. And we, with pictures and stuff, we were pausing and for me to do some of these screenshots, which is why I forgot the one picture. But it's a good thing where we both haven't played these builds, and I haven't played 2,000 points of Nighthaunt in maybe a year. So we are doing great for time. A lot of tournaments for 2,000 points, like 2.5 hours long, 2:45, 3 hour. I like 3-hour rounds myself. I never go to time, but I still like it for like this, because we would talk out around 5. But this came down to a charge. And we're going to find out that he didn't make the charge. He rolled a 5 twice. Fortunately for Alex, that meant that as long as I didn't move and trigger a redeploy for his dragons, I could actually just stand still, score my points in the objectives, and win. Because his final battle tactic was conquer, because it's one of those things that you just needed to do anyway, so why not go for it? And he failed it. But he definitely scored dominating presence to having more units on the table than me from his starting army versus my starting army. I got hold of the line because my 30 block of chain rasp horde, they lived. They lived. And you can see here we did Savage Spearhead for having 2 units in his territory when I showed up to fight the Fulminators. I got an easy conquer. I failed Broken Ranks. It was a gamble. He made them a 2-up save. I couldn't roar them or anything, those Vindictors, but I figured with all the attacks going in and all the neg 2 rend and the Nighthaunt charge stuff that I could do, it'd be a shot at that. Wasn't. Broken Ranks failed, but Slay the Warlord, we got it. I scored a monster point for that. Aggressive expansion, and then we just kept trading the objectives back and forth and scoring a lot of points up until Battle Round 5. And when you add it all together, Nighthaunt and ya boy come out on top by the narrowest of margins, and I never scored points for the new scoring system of killing these units, And at the end of the day, I like that Games Workshop came out with those rules, because that's going to affect games. And you know what? It affected this game because the dragons retreated out of a combat they were about to die in. That was a dragon on full health and a dragon with 1 wound left. And I did 12 wounds to his general, for that combat phase. I easily could have killed them. And then on my turn, gone and murked his general. Still, all the thing, everything remaining constant. I think it was the right play. The crazy thing is, though, that it came down to a 6-inch rerollable charge. It came to, if the priest had moved up a little bit more earlier in the game, but it also came down to me pinning him in place, in a lot of places. And, if the dragons stay there, that would have been broken ranks on them that I would have gotten. And that could have been, so, an extra 6 points to my score as it is. And just, it was a great game. It was very tight. It came down to me having a crazy plan to salvage it, which was pray for a Nighthaunt charge, which you never should do. Never rely on that. If you're praying for Nighthaunt charges, you're desperate. And that list and Frank piloted it very well. And he did so much damage, and those long strikes did so good. The dragons killed a bunch of stuff. It was like, again, I had 2 units. I was nearly tabled, and he had lost 8 models. The only unit I fully killed was the 1 hero and the Vindictors. His list worked exactly as advertised. I just got a little bit lucky with how the objectives fell. And being able to utilize my own deep striking and movement shenanigans to pin his stuff in place. And the dice ended up being very even. There were times where it was hot for each of us and cold for each of us. Armor saves were great. And then sometimes armor saves, just you couldn't make one. Excuse me. That's just, I don't know what that's going to sound like on audio, but I'm keeping it in. I would play that game again, and, I love Alex. He can kick my butt any day. His Mega Gargants are what made me a better player against Gargants because of how often he beat me. And, it's just, he's a great sparring partner. And I'll come with a list, and we'll throw down, see what we can do, and just try different things. And, at the end of the day, Nighthaunt got the win. And it came down to a charge roll. And that's really good Warhammer if that's what it came down to, And you can't blame dice. It was just rough, and decisions were made. And post-game thoughts. Fulminators and Dragons on the other side of the table, it hurt. It did. It hurt. It hurt his chances because it came down to that charge roll. Ethereal saved so many undead lives, ignoring all the rend of the long strikes for as long as I could, ignoring the rend on the Fulminators and the Dracoffs. I had heroes live when they should not have. I had rolled so many 5-up saves on the Chain Rasps because that's what their armor save is. They're the only thing not a 4-up save in the army, where they just held units in place so I didn't have to worry about redeployments. Again, that Nighthaunt charge, because that's really the story of this, is not that he failed the save, I failed the charge at the end. The fact that I made an 11-inch charge and killed the general to take that objective back is actually the story of this game. Because he should not have had to do anything with the dragons. They could have just sat out the rest of the game. I made the crazy charge. And it is unfortunate the dragons failed the charge at the end, but that should never have come down to that. He should have he would have won it by 10, 15 points if I did not get that Nighthaunt charge. Um, and those are my thoughts on the game. And Frank played great. It was a great time. I would do it again. I'm so happy y'all have been liking these battle reports. And again, if we can get to another 20 likes, we'll keep the series going. I'm itching to put my Deepkin on the channel. My Deepkin build. I know they're not actually my model scanned in, though. If you follow me on Twitter at Rocco, your boy, like my YouTube channel, you'll see that I do have a wonderfully painted Deepkin arm. We've actually gotten a lot of hobby points on it, too. Um, with nice little conversions where it's like a black and white comic strip with like shots of red, like it's Sin City. But I've got some builds that I like to try and put on the channel. Um, that could be next. We'll see what they play into. Maybe new Beastman with Bradley. He's been wanting a game. Maybe against Stormcast again. I don't know. But come on down to class next time and find out. And again, like, subscribe, share the video, comment, say all that other fun stuff. And as I like to say at the end of all of our videos, class dismissed. Bye. Woo, night on!